Hey, my lovely people, welcome back to another episode of Selfish Therapy. Happy Saturday to you guys. If you're new here, I'm your host, Lyrae. On this channel, we talk about any and everything self therapy. So if you are not ready to do the work, this may not be the channel for you. Remember, you show your support to me by subscribing to my channel, turning on your post notification bell so whenever I post new content, you guys are notified first. Leave me a thumbs up if you like the video and drop a comment below. Let me hear what your thoughts are on my topics. Alright, so with that said, guys, you guys already saw the topic. This is a continuation. This is what episode 1, or I would say 2. Part 2 of our series of called self-development or personal development, right? This week we're going to be talking about developing a positive mindset. So if you're interested, stay tuned and let's get right into the video. Yeah, so guys, like I said, today we're going to be talking a little bit about developing a positive mindset. I feel like it's a very huge piece of the steps that needs to be taken for overall personal growth, because it does matter what you think, how you process things, because that also equates to how the choices that you make, and pretty much what triggers your emotions and which emotions, right? So let's start with talking about where did we even come from with or where did we even get to start thinking negatively, right? And I think it has a lot to do with our experiences and our surroundings. It's like learned behavior. I believe our biases from our cultural background, how we were raised, the people that we spend time with, that feeds into our energy, the lack of experience, and being able to experience things outside of the norm for you, outside of what you know. So you weren't able to be introduced to new things, new way of doing life, right? And that kind of developed into the snowball of putting you in this box. You don't know any other way, so you default to your old way of thinking. And if it looks different from what you have, then that means it's a bad thing, right? And that's what you were taught. So how do we combat those things? How do we challenge what we think? I do believe it starts with you even acknowledging that you have those, right? Acknowledging that your way of thinking may not always be the best way. Being open to new ideas, you may not always be as open. So it starts with acknowledging it, being aware of it, and acknowledging that there is room for improvement, right? Once you're there, I feel like if you're watching this video today, I absolutely believe that then there's some sense of awareness and you are ready to start that journey of making that change. So let's get into it. So there are so many different things. When I started this series, the first introduction video I did, which was of all the subcategories that we're going to be discussing each week. If you haven't seen the last video, please make sure that you go ahead and watch it so that we can actually, you can follow along with us, right? We can work on this together. So the last one was just an overview. And today we wanted to go into a couple things that we can actually do to combat that, to challenge the way that we think and the way that we process things, which in turn will start to develop a better you, right? So the first one is, I think one, being aware of it is a very huge one. Look at yourself internally and start to say, hey, could I have approached this differently? Why was my first thought something negative? Start looking at those things. Secondly, then you want to see what you're feeding your mind. What are you feeding into? What are you watching? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of conversations are you guys, are you allowing to seep into your energy? Because I always say this, and you hear this on multiple videos, whatever it is that you feed is what will grow. What you spend more time on is what will grow. What you water is what will grow. So I absolutely believe that that plays a huge part in who you are as a person, is what you feed, right? So if you are constantly around negative people that talk about just negative things, if they're talking about things that you can identify that, okay, maybe this may not be something I want to be a part of, then that's a cue for you to start separating yourself. Start taking care of you first before you can even challenge what they're doing, because you need to be ready for it, right? So I think being mindful of the people that you're spending your time with, being mindful of what you're watching and listening to and what you're reading, all those things play a huge part in how you process your thoughts, right? And what you think about. Number 3 would be practicing gratitude, practicing compassion, not only to others, but also to yourself. You want to be more kind to you. A lot of the times we'll put effort out into being kind to the people that we care about. We want to be compassionate to the people that we care about, but what about yourself? How much of that energy are you putting towards yourself? How much of that are you pouring into you, right? You have to believe that you deserve compassion as well. You deserve gratitude. You want to be thankful to others, but you want to also be thankful to you, right? It takes work and effort to do the things that you do, to make the progress that you make. So you want to have some kind of self-gratitude towards that. I think being kind to yourself, it takes like a softer approach. You're not so hard on yourself then, right? The best way to explain it. You're not as hard on yourself, and you're not so quick to go to the negative things when it comes to being judgmental to yourself, right? So I think that plays a very huge part, is just learning how to also show yourself some kind of gratitude and be compassionate to yourself. Kind of takes the blow off when you go so hard, right? You want to also try your hardest to challenge your thoughts by being more optimistic. When you start to think about certain things, are you just going to the negative things, or all the things that could fall apart, all the reasons why it wouldn't work, all the things why it would fail? Let's challenge that. Try to challenge that. Challenge yourself and say, let's look at the glass half full rather than half empty. And let's start looking at the positive things that could come out of this effort, right? Or this initiative, whatever that could be. So you want to force yourself on thinking, being a little bit more optimistic by challenging the way that you think about things, anything, people, right? So that's a huge one. Another one is when you, what's the word I was looking for? You want to try your hardest to focus more on your strengths rather than your weaknesses, right? Not to say neglect them, because knowing what your weaknesses are help you to work towards improving them. But you're so hard that you neglect the things, the good things, the strengths. You focus, so you put more effort into what you can't do, or what you don't have, or what you wish you could do better, rather than, hey, I could do this. How can I leverage my strength to fix the part that I probably don't like, or I would like to fix, right? So you're so hard on yourself. I always say this: if you're trying to get from point A to point B, there are all these things in the middle, these variables in the middle, that you need to take those steps by trusting the process to get to where you want to be. But just because if it takes 10 steps from point A to point B, you're not going to take one step and get to the end. If you took 2 steps, 3 steps, 1 step, that is still some kind of progress. And you need to look at that as growth. Don't try to discard it because it's not 10. Because you need to take each and every step to get to this. You can't jump from point A to point B, right? And we need to start training our minds to think of it that way, that small steps get you to the big, get you to the huge goal that you want to, right? You want to achieve. And we need to think about that. So how about you focus on your strengths, and like I said before, practice gratitude, but also make sure that you are giving yourself grace, that one step at a time, and one step is still progress, right? Another thing I wanted to talk about was taking care of yourself, guys, physically, mentally, emotionally. I absolutely believe it plays a huge part in just how you feel as a person, how you want to. For me, it's prayer, it's spending time with God, meditating, just sitting in the presence of God. It's kind of like a recharge for me. You need to know what your thing is, that you just need to recharge your energy. You need to make time for that, right? Make time. Spend that time to make sure that you're recharging your energy. You also want to make sure that you're taking care of your body physically, whether that's for you to work out, do your exercises, change your diet, resting more. What are the things that you like doing? And I was saying physically, take care of your body. Do what needs to be done. Like, make sure you're taking care of your skin, taking care of your hair, the things that matter the most. You have to take care of you. Physically, mentally, you have to take care of you. Sometimes that means just taking time and sitting down in silence, if that's what you have to do. It helps to recharge your mind, recharge your body, kind of like resetting. So this way, how can I regroup and start again? Especially when you're facing something very stressful and heavy on you. Sometimes in the midst of the stress and the frustration, you can't even figure out what the heck is going on. You can't even process what's going on. How about you just take some time? It's probably still going to be there after you leave, right? Take a few minutes, take some time and say, you know what, right now I just need to relax and just rest my mind, reset, and then let's approach this again, right? That definitely works. So that is something that you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in all aspects, and doing the things that you like, right? Spending more time in more, positive environment, taking care of your body, your mind, your emotions. And that's going to take me into the next one. Taking care of being emotionally intelligent is so huge. So huge. Spend some time every single day working on how can I practice emotional intelligence, because that's what is kind of pushes us to do some of the things that we may regret later, right? So we want to make sure that read some more, experience different cultures, get yourself in a diverse group and learn different things about other people's background. It really opens your mind on, kind of taking you out of this little box that you're living into, and so that you're not operating in silos and just start to evolve your mind a little bit more. It really opens your mind to think outside of the box and think differently by getting more experience and understanding other people's culture and other people's biases, right? So that's a huge one. Another one I wanted to talk about is, which we're not going to get deep into it, but it's very important. It is going to come up later in one of the episodes, but you want to set certain goals. Set your goals. When you have your goals set, you have something to focus on. It leaves less room for negative thoughts, for you to be distracted, for you to just to bring my point across. When you have specific things to focus on, it's easier for you to prioritize what's most important. You don't have room for negativity. You don't have room to spend time with negative people. You don't have room to just sit in negative thoughts, right? You want to focus on your goals, and the one thing that's on your mindset is training your mind to, how do I get to this goal? How do I get to this goal? Right? That definitely helps to put you in a different mindset, rather than sitting down and you being hard on yourself, being hard on other people, and just thinking things that's really not helping, right? It's really not helping. And I think practicing those small steps will eventually start growing into a habit, a way of life, right? Eventually, you will be more aware. You'll start challenging yourself a little bit more, challenging your thoughts a little bit more, as to say, oh, you know what? I could have done this differently. And you're not going to be perfect. I'll tell you this. It's not going to come to a place where, like, I'm just so perfect, unless you're Jesus Christ himself, where it's like, oh, I never make a mistake, I never think anything negative. That's just, I don't see that happening, right? Because we're flesh, so we make mistakes. And sometimes in the heat of the moment, in the midst of a situation, you don't have time to process the way that you'd like to process. You're not in a Zen mood. So what you do, you default to your old ways, because it's always going to be there. But the fact that if you have some kind of conviction that after you, let's say you did something, you said something that you're not so proud of, when you go home, if you have any kind of conviction, you're going to think about it and you're going to say, you know what, I could have handled that differently. I could have handled that differently. You're going to start thinking about those things. So I absolutely believe that they just putting in those small, adding those small things to your life, your routine, whatever it is you call it. I absolutely believe those things will help you. I've done it. I'm speaking from experience. I was more so very hard on myself as to why I did this, why I operated that way, why. And it was like, oh, why are you not acting like this person? This person have it all together, and that was me. But I've learned that everybody's journey is different. I have learned that everybody's experiences experience different things. So for me, rather than paying attention to what everybody else is doing, how about you focus on Jody? So that's the first thing that I did. I started to focus on me. I started to look into myself to see what are some of the things I don't like, right? I used to write these things down, and then I start to say, where could this be stemming from? Where did I learn this from? Look at my family. I look at all these other things to try and figure out, where did I learn this behavior? And I just went on this journey of a growth mindset type of a live-in. How can I grow? What are some different experiences? Can I step out of my box? Can I do things a different way? Just because this is the way I was taught to do it, how can I do this differently and get the same result or even more effective results, right? So stuff like that is where my mind, and I realized the more I did that, the more I started to be curious about other things, and I start learning more. I do believe that just the job environment that I'm in, professional space that I'm in, forced me to be in a more diverse environment, and that kind of also helped. I will say that helped me a lot to be open to other people's ideas and just be open to their way of doing things, right? Different cultures, and just that alone kind of say, hey, outside of your professional world, you can also do more to understand other people. And understanding other people made me realize that nothing was really wrong with me. It's the way I thought about things. It's not that something is wrong with me. This is just who I am. This is how God made me. However, being more open-minded to a growth mindset and applying yourself a certain kind of way, doing these things, is when I started to realize that I just need to develop. I just need personal development, but nothing is wrong with me, right? So I say all of this to say, guys, working on your mind, identifying what some of your negative thought process, the way that you think negatively, start looking at it from a glass half full versus half empty, focusing on your strengths, not so much your weaknesses. Give yourself gratitude and be compassionate to yourself. Work on yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, read more, or be open to more experiences, and just commit to adopting a growth mindset. And I promise you that will help to set you on the right track, right? Create your goals and focus on them. All right, but that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. I know that I did. But let's make sure that we're set for next week. I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. Do not forget to subscribe, turn on your post notification bell. Leave me a thumbs up, guys, if you like this video. And until next time, I'm going to love you guys and leave you, and happy Easter. Bye for now.